Hello, and thank you for tuning in to Southeast Media Sunrise, dedicated to giving a voice to authors of all genres. I'm your host, Jodi Hockinson. Joining us remotely by phone today is Jonnie Richardson, writing as Jonni Rich, author of Deadly Black Pearls, a cozy murder mystery. Jonni Rich was born in Monroe, Louisiana. She is a retail owner and a librarian in the public sector. Jonnie studied writing at the University of Florida and completed her education in Louisiana, where she now resides. Thank you for joining us today, Jonnie.
Well, thank you, Jodi. It's great to be here with you.
It's good to have you. So, you were born in Monroe, Louisiana. What was your early life like?
Oh, it was I had a wonderful early life before working moms and all of that. And with a greater family, everyone was lived close. So we were like a kind of a capsule family with aunts and uncles and cousins and that sort of thing. So it was a different life pretty much from now. And I enjoyed visiting all of these relatives and listening to all their tall tales and that sort of thing.
What did you think of school?
I loved school. It was quite a difference. At that time, we lived in a wooded area. I'm like Winnie the Pooh on a 90-acre farm. And we didn't see, too many people outside of family and such like. So it was a new world. And the most wonderful thing, there were all the books. We didn't have a lot of books or own a lot of books personally in those days. So this was a wonderful place to me. I remember one day in school, and I was kind of a shy child, not overtly shy, but I was not really too outgoing. And I loved to read. And the books that I enjoyed the most were like fantasies with the fairies and the brownies. So I reveled in the books at school.
Tell me what your summers were like as a child.
They were fun. My dad was a fisherman. He had a small retail business, and weekends were spent usually camping out in the summer. We did a lot of fishing, and most of us kids didn't go out in the boats and things. We were on the banks, and we had bonfires and all of the fun things that you have with family.
Can you tell me about your early adulthood?
I was an avid reader always, and I loved rainy weekends where I could read and read and read and enjoyed all of the mysteries during that period. I read a lot of the classics as a young adult, like Dorothy L. Sayers. I love Lord Peter Wimsey. I'm also now a member of his fan club, which is wonderful and not eccentric because there are many of us. The same thing with Agatha Christie and all of these wonderful old writers, Sherlock Holmes, all of them. I just loved them and read them over and over and over. Also,
Mm-hmm.
I loved being with friends as a young adult, and I still have some of my childhood friends today. So it's interesting for us when we look around at the younger people and think of our salad days and the fun that we had.
So, you were talking about reading those fun mysteries, and the book that you have is Deadly Black Pearls, a cozy murder mystery. Can you tell us a little about that?
Yes, this book features my amateur sleuths. They are kind of midlife. They're in their 50s. And Emmaline, the female sleuth, desperately loves Bird, the man who's not really interested in her at all. But she's always carried a torch for him. So as they solve mysteries, she's trying to set her cap for him, even at this late date in their life. And I'm unsure whether I really want to bring them together or not. I have mixed feelings about that. The third book, I sort of had him becoming interested in him, but it's a fun mystery, and it's set in her antebellum home. She's was an only child, and she's really a spoiled little lady in a lot of ways, and he's completely oblivious to her feelings for him. But they do solve the murder, the mysteries.
How did you come to write mysteries rather than romance?
I always had, I don't know, a curiosity about people and what really goes on behind closed doors. I think very young, I understood that there are public people and private people, faces that people show to the world. And I don't say I was a precocious child like that, but I did understand very early that there are things that people don't talk about. And that's the things I like to write about, the inside person too, and the mystery that in everyone's life. We're all a mystery, really.
That is so true. When did you start writing?
I started writing actually during, I guess seriously, during high school days. I was always encouraged by my English teachers to write. And mostly I wrote poetry. I think that's something that young people do. Poetry expresses our feelings and all of the angst we have, growing up and changing into adults from kids and teenagers. And then I would write, if I would read a book and I didn't like the ending, I would rewrite the ending. So I've rewritten a lot of endings to a lot of books.
Talking about rewriting and writing in the first place, how do you set up your books?
Well, I always have to have a character's name. I can't write about someone who just doesn't have a name. So that's the very first thing I do. Like, for instance, now I'm plotting a new book with two sisters, and I could not come up with the kind of dark sister's name. It was escaping me until finally I discovered what she was to be called. So now I can plot the book, and I set it up mentally. I'll know where the book is going, but a lot of times I don't know the ending myself until I write it. Or a lot of times the ending will change as the characters change throughout the book. So it's a mental process. Some notes a lot of times I can't find.
How do you come up with the plots?
Plots are everywhere. You can study. There are a lot of wonderful books on plot that you can study. One good one is The 20 Master Plots by Ronald Tobias. That's a very good book for plots and how to plot your stories. But really, current events trigger me a lot. The news, snippets of news, things that we hear, just little things can trigger a whole book. It's amazing how your mind can work once you train it that way, I suppose, is what I'm trying to say. I think Agatha Christie in her autobiography wrote that she once wrote a mystery because she was in a restaurant and heard a woman being called Miss Fish, Fish. And I thought, well, that's amazing.
That's
That triggered
interesting.
a mystery. So everywhere, Jodi, the plots are everywhere.
You've written at least one historical mystery, Peril at Thornywild. How do you plot your historical mysteries?
They are a little different. A great deal of research goes into doing the research for the historical mysteries. And I love historical mysteries and I love to read them. I'm a fan of Lindsay Davis with the mystery set in ancient Rome and Ellis Peters and her Brother Cowfield mysteries. But a lot of research has to go into this type of work. And what I do is I try to find autobiographies written during that time period. And that gives you a inset or a entrance into their world that's a little different than just, studying the history books. So research.
Do you keep a writing schedule?
A very loose schedule. I write mornings and nights sometimes. Sometimes I look at television very late. I love the mystery channels with all of the mysteries that are on Acorn and that type of thing.
Uh-huh.
And on those nights, I'll write late at night. Other nights that I'm in bed earlier, I write in the mornings. So not a fixed schedule, no.
What's the message you try to get across to your readers in your books?
I try to treat my characters fairly. I believe even villains have redeeming qualities. They're not all bad, an all monster. I guess in some works probably they are. But I do try to treat my characters fairly. I want them to act in character, and I want especially to show that crime does not pay, even though there's many, many cold cases today on books that are very sad. So I like to bring my villain to justice and see justice served. And that's one thing I like to get across.
We heard a little about your life as a child and as a youngster. What are things that you do today? What's your daily life like right now?
Right now, it's very interesting. I have lived with my son and daughter-in-law at present. My home, my family home, is being renovated for sale. So I'm being treated like royalty, which is very different from me for me. It's been kind of hard to take in a lot of ways because I'm expected to do very little, to contribute very little. By that, I mean housework and cooking and that sort of thing. So it's a different life, but it's a good life too, and it's interesting. I'm in the city and not in the country. My home was in the country. So I'm in the city now in a very busy part of town, which has kind of been stimulating to get in my car and just zip here and there. Of
Uh-huh.
course, right now we can't do that, but it's very different. My husband passed away in 2012. We were married 54 years, and we had a great grandchild that we were rearing whose little mother passed away, and the grandson was unable to take care of him. So we have him here with us, and he's 12, and that's really a fun age, believe me,
Oh, that's
a
so
little
nice.
preteen.
Uh-huh.
So we're busy, very busy.
What's the next project you've got going?
There are several. As I told you, the sister book has been cooking in my brain for a very long, long time. But I'm not sure I'm ready to start writing it just yet. I don't know. Having never had a sister in the first place, it will be different. I only have two brothers. So that would be, I always wanted a sister, but it didn't happen.
Aw.
And then I have a time travel that I started. I will probably work on it. It's uh, it's more actually a romance than a mystery, though there is a mystery involved. And it's set in Civil War Vicksburg during the when Vicksburg was surrounded by the Union troops. I've always been fascinated by President Grant, who was at that time General Grant. So I'll probably work on that one.
Oh, I'm intrigued. I can't wait to read it. Well, it looks like we're out of time. Anyone interested in purchasing Deadly Black Pearls by Jonni Rich can log into semediapro.com or visit Amazon. This book is available in Kindle and paperback. Again, we've been speaking with Jonnie Richardson, writing as Jonni Rich, author of Deadly Black Pearls, a cozy murder mystery. And listeners, if you're interested in getting your book published, please visit us at semediapro.com and click on the book publishing link. This is Jodi Hockinson, host of Southeast Media Sunrise, Southeast Media Productions. Like us on Facebook at Southeast Media Productions, visit our website at semediapro.com, or listen to our podcasts at semediapodcast.com.